Hello and welcome back to another episode of Farewell Evangelion, the podcast where we go through the Neon Genesis Evangelion series bit by bit. My name is Keith, going through for his last time, and as always I'm joined by Peter.
Hello!
Who is going through for his first.
Maybe second.
But we'll talk about that.
Yeah.
But today, we reviewed Volume 4 of Angelic Days, which came out February 17th, 2005. The series climaxes with the assault on Tokyo 3 by multiple angels, in which Shinji is ultimately brought into a form of instrumentality, where he finally admits his feelings for Asuka. Afterwards, the pilots are split into various training facilities across the world, with the story concluding several years later.
Yep. Alright, so first things first, my prediction for this episode was that we would kind of speedrun through all the boss fights, and then get to the real meat and potatoes of the story, which is the culture festival / prom, where Shinji's on a date with Rei, and Asuka's on a date with Kensuke. And so I was absolutely right about them speedrun fighting all of the bosses.
Yeah, it was pretty much a boss rush for everything.
That being said, my prediction of them going to the prom / culture festival was way off the mark. There was a lot of relationship drama with Asuka and Kensuke, with Kensuke doubling down on his feeling for Asuka, and similarly with Rei doubling down her feelings for Shinji. So I was kind of right about that, but a bit off the mark, so I'm giving myself a B-.
Yeah, that's fair. Again, this one's kind of more on the character development side of things, so even the Angel boss rush was barely even a chapter.
Yeah, it was like roughly half of one of the 4 chapters here, so we had 4 chapters in this volume. The first one is essentially the different pilots kind of being on standby in case angels attack, and them all just hanging out together while discussing the fact that the cities...
Kind of following up where the last chapter, or volume I should say, ended off, where the angels are attacking was kind of where we ended.
Yeah. So...
And it's we just know they're going to attack around this general time.
Yeah, so city's been evacuated, all of the pilots need to remain on standby. At the same time they're discussing this, we find out that Kaji's been investigating Kaworu and has discovered Kaworu was, while Kaworu has no backstory, there happens to have been another student by the name of Kaworu Nagisa, who was a fellow student of Gendo and Yui back in the past, which, I'm going to be honest, it's a little bit weird that he gets so stuck on this point, because it's just hey, there's a child named this, and also 20 years ago, there was another child who happened to have the exact same name. That's pretty fucking suspicious.
Went to the exact same school. Probably the exact same family.
Yeah.
Which, he's just getting mad about the concept of just someone being named a junior.
Yeah, exactly. Fucking Gendo Jr. If he had have named Shinji Gendo instead of Shinji, or I guess...
Pretty suspicious.
Yeah.
A kid named Gendo Akari going to the same school you did, living in the same house as you do.
Yeah, that's pretty much what fucking Kaji's doing. I mean, granted... Kaji is right. There are other suspicious things going on, like the fact that Kaworu doesn't really have a backstory as far as we know.
I mean, also, to be fair, there's no second Kaworu living in town.
Yeah. So, his suspicions have some merit. It's just weird that that's the thing he seems to, find the most suspicious, is that there was another child who had the same name in the past. Sure, who the fuck cares?
The great thing about it, too, is because when Kaji's confronting Gendo on it, Gendo's no, I don't remember this.
Yeah, and he seems almost suspicious, he's hiding something when he says that.
To be fair, that's also Gendo. Gendo is not going to ever show his little hearts, even on the most mundane thing. It's oh, what would you like for breakfast? Wouldn't you like to know?
Yeah.
What?
But then
I need to know.
Yeah. But then we get Yui being confronted by Kaji. And I'm sticking with the word confronted because that's how it feels with Kaji during this chapter. And that's when we get a little bit more suspicious of Kaworu in this situation, because Yui, genuinely seems confused by this revelation that there was a child named Kaworu.
Yeah, she can't remember Kaworu Nagisa, but she does kind of vaguely remember something about him.
She feels, sad almost at, the name, but doesn't know why she feels that way.
Yeah. So, implying that there's something else going on here that Kaworu's doing, which, I mean, us in the greater Neon Genesis universe know there's other stuff going on that Kaworu's
Yeah, of course, there's a whole bunch of other shit going on with the Kaworu of this world. So that's what's going on in the first chapter. In the second chapter, we get posed the big question of what is the concept of the person who's most precious to you? And we get this because Shinji just straight up... Alright, so first of all, Misato comes out and she's alright, so you've been on hold for a while. It's time now. We're going to go fight some angels. They're here. And the moment that fucking Toji hears that, he's like, alright, cool, I gotta bounce. I gotta check it on Hikari and be like, yo, what's up, babe? I don't know, I'm just gonna go see how the class rep is doing.
Hi, class rep. I need to go get cigarettes, lottery tickets, and milk.
Yeah, because I'm a 40-year-old, and also I'm abandoning these children. And Shinji, catching on to the fact that a 40-year-old is clearly trying to walk away from a situation, is like, I'm gonna go with you, that way I can ensure that you come back. And Toji's not on board with that plan, first of all, because he's clearly planning on abandoning his kids.
Yeah.
But also just because Shinji keeps asking him questions, and Toji's like, fuck off, just leave me alone. So we get that, and then smash cut to Toji talking to Hikari, and then just like, the moment they've both confirmed that they're currently alive, Toji's just like, alright, cool, I'm gonna bounce, I'm gonna go cry in an alley. You didn't hear that? No, I'm not saying that, but like, I'm very heavily implying.
I'm not verbally saying it, but my eyes.
Yeah, you can see the tears already appearing in my eyes.
My soul is singing.
So then Hikari is like, yo, Toji's clearly just walked down that alley to go cry. What the fuck's going on here, Shinji?
You guys are gonna do something dangerous. You know, the fact they evacuated the city and got you guys in these weird matching skin-tight suits.
Yeah, you guys are wearing matching jumpsuits, except, like, not perfectly matching. You guys clearly have your own color schemes going on.
Like, which, like, if you're going to match it with, like, maybe, say, a giant robot of some sort.
Yeah, and, like, you've got, like, you clearly have the same tailor, but all got a little bit of input on the style that was put into these custom-made suits that you're wearing.
I never realized Toji was color-coded black.
Yeah. Like the Mafia, because that's who he is. Anyways, what the fuck happens? Alright, yeah, so Hikari, like, straight up calls out Shinji. She's like, you're about to do something dangerous.
Here, take this good luck charm.
Yeah, here's this good luck charm. I was going to put it on my lunchbox for the next time me and Toji had lunch together, but that's clearly never going to fucking happen again. Give the good luck charm to Toji so that he can survive. And this is when Shinji comes to the realization of, oh, these two individuals who have been spending a lot of time alone together, and, like, I'm clearly already aware of the fact that they're in a relationship, they both care for each other, and they are the most most precious person to the other one.
Caring for people.
Yeah, which is what leads Shinji to the idea of, this is a new thought to me, the idea of having a person who's precious to you.
Affection?
What is...
From people?
What would this look like in my life? Clearly not my father. Also, like, maybe my mother, but she's, like, just not enough of my life that, like, I can't for sure say that
she's been here for, 3 pages?
Yeah, she appeared long enough to tell Gendo to show me affection, and then fucked off.
And then long enough to tell Kaji, oh, I feel sad about this, maybe.
Yeah. Yeah, I think she literally has appeared for 3 pages, and it's not even 3 consecutive pages, it's 3 different instances of her being on a single page. Shinji now has questioned the concept of affection for another human being, and having someone who is most precious to you.
Yeah.
Smash cut to chapter 3, this is the boss fight.
Yeah, all of this going on, Kaworu was also told he's not allowed to get in the Eva because they're suspicious of him. Because they can't trust the Eva to him, even though he's got the best sync rate. Something seems off.
He's a pretty fucking sus character. And Kaworu hears that everyone else has gotten into their Evas, except for Kensuke, because Kensuke's lost. He's like, you know what, fuck it, I'm going to the control room, I'll help Kensuke find his way there. And by help Kensuke find his way there, he really means he's gonna knock Kensuke the fuck out and
I mean, to be fair, he does help Kensuke find the way there by pointing out exactly where Kensuke should have been going.
Yeah, he's like, it's over there, and then the moment Kensuke, like, turns his head to look in that direction,
man.
He, like, judo chops him in the back of the fucking neck and knocks him unconscious.
It's great because we already talked about this in one of the previous episodes about how the perfect timeline is Kensuke finally getting in the Eva and fighting, and Kaworu being the omniscient world builder
refuses to let it happen. Yeah, absolutely.
Even in Slice of Life, no.
Which I found fucking hilarious. That, like, this is the one timeline where it makes the most sense that Kensuke would finally get his chance to pilot an Eva because everyone's piloting them concurrently. And Kaworu still gets in the fucking way of stopping Kensuke from having that dream.
Not on Kaworu's watch.
So yeah, Kaworu pilots the Eva, and then we have instrumentality. Except this instrumentality is different from all the other instrumentalities. Because there's no giant ray, and it's all Kaworu based. It is Kaworu having a conversation with Shinji, and we still get, like, that classic flashback to Shinji as a child, and, like, showing different points in his life. But it's no longer, like, what do you want, and, like, how alone do you want to be? Like, that's kind of what the questions are about, but it's more so like, do you want to stay at this point in your life right now where everyone's friend and no one's in relationship, so all of your relationships stay as they are right now? Or do you want to develop your relationships further and get closer with some while getting further from others?
You could be 14 forever, or have what's inside the mystery box.
We should open up the mystery box. It could be being 14 forever. You know how I want that, Kaworu.
Oh, wait, no.
So yeah, that's what's going on with Shinji and instrumentality. And essentially, it's a long time of Shinji like having flashbacks to being a child and having Asuka bully him as a child because, you know, she's tsundere as fuck.
Yeah.
And Kaworu being like, hey, we can be friends. I'll play with you while Asuka's bullying you.
I won't even bully you. And he's like, that's kind of a make or break for me, though, honestly.
Yeah, like, if we're going to be friends, you're going to need to bully me at least a little bit. So Shinji goes along with the plan of being friends with Kaworu. And then eventually he's like, yo, so Asuka has no one in this world, so I'm going to, like, go home and hang out with Asuka because, like, she's going to be alone all night. And Kaworu's like, what? Just hear me out. What if we fully fucking ignore Asuka and continue playing games together? And, yeah, no, Shinji's not really into that.
But what if, and kind of crazy, hear me out, what if we did, you know, kissed in the instrumentality?
Yeah, what if instrumentality happened and we just, like, made out a little bit? Not, like, it wouldn't be gay, it would just be, like, two bros making out together. Holding hands, kissing and stuff.
It'd be crazy, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it'd be crazy.
So funny if we did that.
Oh, man, like, imagine we did that and everyone saw it, like, we were like, ha, gotcha, and then we, like, kissed a little more.
He's like, I gotta go talk to Asuka.
Yeah, so then Shinji's like, oh, right, being precious to someone. I gotta go. Asuka probably needs me right now. And so, yeah, that's how Shinji finally makes his decision, is he has to go through the entirety of instrumentality and realize that he doesn't want to be with Rei, he wants to be with
But it's a
Asuka.
one-man instrumentality.
Yes, it's purely, he has the power of God, as instrumentality has been shown to do in the past, and he uses that power of God to decide whether he likes the tsundere chick or a fucking Rei.
A fucking Rei.
Yeah. Sorry, how did we describe her earlier? Bubbly.
Bubbly
Bubbly Rei. It's Bubbly Rei or Tsundere Asuka. Who do you want? And it turns out Shinji's into Tsundere Asuka. Yeah. Not into that bubbly personality. It's too high maintenance.
The thing I do like about the boss rush, too, though, is it just highlights how unimportant the angels actually are in the storyline, because you kind of see glimpses of, like, Zuriel, Madarail, kind of Leliel.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, you see bits and parts of them just massacring these angels.
Yeah, it's like the angel fight is not what's important right now. It's instrumentality, and even more so than instrumentality. What's most important is Shinji deciding which girl is endgame.
Yeah, and it makes me wonder if they actually ever had, like, all 6 pilots active at any point in any part of Neon Genesis. Would it be like this?
Probably. I mean, the closest we get to that is the 3 pilots working concurrently to, like, catch that one giant angel that comes down during Neon Genesis.
Yeah.
I think that's the only time we ever see all 3, like, working simultaneously. And they defeat that one with, like, minimal damage. There's a lot of blood that comes out, but...
To be fair, most angels pre-Bardial are, like, beaten in, like, comical sense.
Yeah. Yeah, no, so yeah, probably if they had all 6 fighting from the beginning, they just would have been, like, fucking one-tapping fucking angels.
Yeah.
Alright. Chapter 4. This is the one when shit starts to get heavy, because Shinji has realized he has feelings for Asuka, and so start off with him, like, meeting up with Asuka and like, hey, you want to walk home together? And Asuka's like, we live in the same fucking building. Of course we're walking home. The city's abandoned. Who did you think
They abducted everyone.
What did you think was going to happen here? And she's like, yeah, I know I don't need to ask you, but I want to ask you. And then Asuka starts fucking blushing like a little girl.
How hard did that angel hit you in the head?
You were like a glowing being of light for a little bit there. What the fuck was going on? He's like, I don't know, I was figuring out what the heart wants. Except he doesn't say that because we can't have a true confession yet. Because there's one more thing that has to happen, and that's a fucking time skip.
Well, not even that, too, because they have, like, this nice little moment, and then almost immediately it's like, hey, you guys having fun there? Guess what? We're separating all of you across the world.
Yeah, it's, hey, the angels have all been defeated, but I don't know, who knows? Maybe angels will come back, so each one of you gets a continent to look after.
We don't know anything about angels. There could be even one among us right now.
Who knows? Maybe one of the 7 of you is an angel. 7? 6? 6 of you is an angel.
It's 6 pilots and Hikari.
Hikari could be an angel. I don't know. She's pretty kind. That seems pretty angelic. She could be the Angelic Days we're hearing about, Keith.
More biblical style angel.
That's fair.
Eyes for days.
In that case, it's definitely you. The 3 times we've seen her, she definitely has multiple eyes. So yes. The one thing we're told is they're all fucking off to their own parts of the world. Shinji is staying in Japan, and then everyone else is going somewhere else.
Yeah. Probably, I don't know if it's mentioned, but Asuka's probably going to Europe, Germany branch.
I have a feeling, I don't remember 100%, but in my mind I read it as she's going to Germany, so that might have been there. That might have just been adding that detail. Kensuke is absolutely going to USA.
Yeah, it might have the United States. That makes the perfect sense for where he's going.
Yeah. Toji's probably going to Antarctica. Just like, fuck off. We don't care about you. You're going to this shitty place. And then Rei, I don't know, China, just because they want to keep the romantic tension of having her as close to Shinji as possible. So all this happens, and once they realize they're going their separate ways, the 7 of them, because Hikari is included in this, decide to bury a time capsule to reopen once they all have a chance to come back together. It's not clear what's put in the time capsule except for one thing.
Yeah, one object.
One object, and the one object is Kaworu saying, I don't have anything to bury, I'm not putting anything in the time capsule.
That's a crazy object.
Yeah, and Shinji being like, fuck you, this is that photo of all of us together at the beach, this is your contribution, you're putting this in the box. So that happens. And then it's the next day, and everyone's leaving, and Shinji's not there, because Shinji's staying. But we are told that Asuka leaves at noon, and Rei leaves at 4 o'clock, and then everyone else, I don't know, whenever the ship's ready, I guess.
You're not important to the story anymore.
What matters right now is this love triangle that we have to resolve, guys.
We spent so long on the angel montage that we didn't get a chance to resolve the love triangle.
So the timing's a little bit suspicious, because Asuka leaves, and then there's 4 whole hours of Rei to try and seal in that love connection she has with Shinji. Even though Shinji's already made his decision, but she doesn't know that.
Well, the Kensuke Asuka one also gets resolved when he's like, I get to tell you, and then Asuka's like, you're a great friend, and Asuka's like, aw shit.
Yeah, he's like, I already knew we were friends, I was asking about something more, and she's like, no, hear me right now, Kensuke, you're a great friend. That's all you are, you're a friend. Meanwhile, Rei figures out that Asuka leaves at noon, so she catches Shinji on his way to the docks like 10 minutes before the ship takes off. And she's like, we should talk about our feelings, because I just want to reiterate, I have feelings for you. And Shinji's like...
And I have like 30 minutes, I need to talk about this.
Yeah, we gotta talk about this for at least 10 and a half minutes. And Shinji's like, alright, I'm gonna cut you off, Rei. I like you, but I don't like you the way that you like me. I like you as a friend.
I like you, but I don't like you.
Yeah, I like you, I don't like you. And so then Shinji dashes past her and just gets to the dock as the ship's leaving and just starts shouting at the boat, asking for Asuka. So Asuka does the only reasonable thing to do here, and
which is surprisingly hears him from inside the boat and then jumps off the boat. And this is a big boat. She dropped at least 5 stories when she jumps into his arms.
Yeah, jumps into his arms as he's standing on the pier. Given the height she fell from, both of them have broken bones at this point. But that doesn't matter. What matters is they're clutching each other, hugging, and whispering into each other's ears, I like you, I really like you.
And then, Kaji's giving us, the look from the, corner of the page of, that's all, folks, rolling his eyes, kids these days.
Aw, shucks, kids these days. But that's not all, folks, because this chapter doesn't end there. It ends post-time skip.
Well, no, because we haven't even gotten to the best part, which is Kaworu doing the, my work here is done, and then evaporating into ether.
Yeah, he pulls it back to the future, in that we have post-time skip, everyone coming back together, and then they dig up the box. Shinji looks at the picture, and he's like, who is this kid? I remember this kid, but I don't know, I don't remember this kid, but I'm crying while I look at this picture. And then we get...
I just know he wanted me to be happy somehow.
Yeah, I have this vague memory of him asking what it's going to take for me to be happy. And then he looks at it, and it goes full fucking back to the future, and Kaworu just fades out of the fucking picture.
Yeah.
My work here is done.
Out of reality from Rei earlier when he's like, all my work here is done.
Yeah, I have
What are you talking about? That's all, folks.
I have another loop I have to go to try and fuck Shinji there.
Yeah, which is great, because I think it just kind of strengthens the ending of Thrice Upon a Time, because the big reveal in that one was Kaworu wanted happiness, but it was...
his own idea of happiness, not Shinji's.
Yeah, to make him happy, and Shinji's happiness was just a product of that, not so much the goal, but he thought it was. And this kind of reiterates that because Shinji did find happiness in this world when he got with Asuka, essentially. And Kaworu is like no longer wants to be in this world.
Yeah, that's not the happiness I wanted you to find.
Yeah.
The happiness I wanted you to find was the happiness of sucking my cock. Sorry, that was inappropriate. But I'm doubling down on it. Kaworu wanted Shinji to give him a blowjob, alright? Just accept it and move on. Yeah, so that's all she wrote, folks. Except not quite, because this is volume 4 of 6, so there's some more stuff going on here. Somewhere.
Yeah, volume 4 kind of ends up the story of what's going on here. And the 5 and 6 are extras onto it, which don't extend the story forward, but more flush out the story.
Yeah. Obviously, I haven't read either of those volumes yet, but I have to assume it's like some sort of epilogue or something where it's not a continuation of the plot, because the plot kind of seems done now, but it's just added details to kind of flesh out the world.
Exactly.
Similar to how, like, at the end of Return of the King, the last half an hour of that movie is just 7 different fucking endings. That's what's happening here, is it's just going through each of the characters and be like, and then this person did this, and then this person
Yeah, we
did
haven't
this.
even found out about Ritsuko's plot to get Gendo yet.
Yeah, obviously, there's going to be a sideline where, like, there's a threesome with Ritsuko, Yui, and Gendo. And Yui's not aware that this is happening somehow.
So overall, what did you think of this volume?
I enjoyed it. It seems like a very satisfying ending, which is weird to say because I know it's not the end. There's more to go, but it's a nice palate cleanser from some of the darker themes that we've dealt with other Evangelion stories. So
Yeah, there's definitely goofy stuff in Evangelion, but like some more of the main timeline ones are a lot more serious about their things. Whereas when people get to do these like side things like Angelic Days, it's a lot more lighthearted. Like this is very much, if Evangelion was a standard mecha anime of the time, this is probably what it would have been.
yeah, probably. Which I'm alright with.
Yeah, very much liked it, and we'll definitely be going over the next 2 volumes to see what fun stuff gets added to this before we finish off Angelic Days.
Absolutely.
So with that, we'll wrap up the episode. So, if you would like to follow the podcast, we upload every Wednesday on all podcasting platforms as well as YouTube. We also have the Instagram page where we put up facts about the series and go through what we're going about, as well as some polls here and there, and we answer questions pretty quickly. If you'd like to email us directly with any questions or anything you feel hasn't been addressed, you can always email us at whatismypodcastabout@gmail.com. And as always, Peter, what can we expect in Angelic Days Volume 5?
Alright, so we got some wrapping up to do of different plot lines, so probably a bit more time spent post-time skipped of, like, this is what's going on with these different characters after everything happened, as well as I have to assume Shinji's going to end up doing some sort of investigation into Kaworu to figure out who the fuck was that weird boy who I saw a face disappear and, like, I have strange memories of but don't fully remember, so...
You keep hearing back in time for some reason?
Yeah, like, I have very specific verbal memories that don't actually line up with anything actually happening. And as always...
Plenty of fan service.